Philip was one of our fathers who spoke in our video, the fatherhood video that's going to be airing tomorrow. So honored to have him here to kind of give some perspective on the video. So Phil, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, thank you for having me. It feels good to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're happy to have you here and grateful that you were able to take the time to not only join us here today, but to join us a couple months ago when we did this video to just really give your take and your perspective on losing a child. So as we both know, it's not the easiest topic to talk about, but we're grateful that you were willing to do that for us.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you for having me out. Surprisingly, it was a kind of a cathartic experience. I didn't expect it to be as liberating and freeing as it was. It was an opportunity for me to like really actually be real about the situation that I was in, and also talk to people who understood, because it's hard to be in that situation and not have anybody to talk to who can really understand and have some level of empathy for what it is that you're going through. And it was good for me. It was definitely good for me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly the whole point of this, right? Being able to talk about things that we typically would suppress or not talk about with each other. And in that, a lot of times we don't realize that we can find that healing by just talking to someone who has had a similar experience. So I think that video will really not only just help us, but I think it's going to help a lot of other people who have maybe been in a similar background as us and just haven't talked about it. So let's kind of get into the video here. So we had gone through, we watched the video after everything was complete. We watched it with our wives. And I think once we watched it, like when we finished filming, I think we knew, like, all right, this was actually really, really good. And then we got the chance to watch it together. And I think it really just kind of hit on just even more feelings, more emotions that maybe weren't even captured the first time. So, what were some of your initial takeaways on the video after we watched it for the first time?
Yeah. So when you're taping something, when you're like in the middle of it, you don't really take the time to really think about what it is that you're doing and how impactful it could potentially be, right? Especially when you're being as real and as raw as you possibly can be. And so then when we had the opportunity to sit back as a group and watch it as a group, there were moments where I was just picking up nuggets, and I started writing notes about like things that I was picking up the second time through the conversation from the other guys that were in the group. When I think about David and the things that he was talking about and the things that he experienced, it was great for me to see that a second time, because it made me realize that nothing was wasted, right? Um, the opportunity for me to be able to hear and to listen actually gave me some really good life lessons. It was also good for me to listen to myself and see where I was at that moment. Um, and to see, the amount of growth that I had in that amount of time that's passed. It's literally only been 2 months, but again, the impact that it's had on me has been really good. It has forced me to like think about things. I believe earlier in this week, David said something around like this idea of like coping versus healing, or coping versus just being in a whole space. And I didn't realize it then, but I had spent a lot of time really just coping with what was going on with me, and like being in a space where you're like, you don't know what to do with the grief that you have, and how do you get past it, right? How do you get to a point where you're like not feeling all the pain that is attached to it, and you start to see what lessons can be learned from it. And that's, I guess that's what I mean when I say that nothing is wasted, because those moments, those opportunities with us together just gave me an opportunity to like let some things go, and then start the journey to heal, and start the journey to be in a place where I can really begin to like see myself in a different light. Cause it's hard. It's hard when you lose a child. It's hard, hard. So yeah, those a moment to just be like, okay, this is what it is that I'm feeling, and I can let this go. What am I learning from it? What am I what am I able to understand from this particular situation? How can I help others in this particular situation? Um, yeah, yeah,
I like that, man. Um, Man, you gave some wise tips there within just that couple of minutes, man. I mean, yeah, going back to what David talked about earlier this week about a difference between coping and healing. And then also too, just one thing that stuck out to me, what you were just talking about, rewatching that video and being able to see where you were at
hmm
that time and being able to acknowledge and look and see like, okay, there has been some growth, there has been some progress. A lot of times we don't see that when we're just in the moment each and every day. And
yeah,
a lot of times you're like, wow, okay, I am actually healing, I am growing. It may not always feel that way at times, but progress is taking place. So that
yeah,
was huge, and being able to take a seat back and see that. So thank you for sharing that. And really, we've talked about how this video has impacted us, and how we were able to grow from one another. Just like you mentioned too, hearing it that second time around, like I felt like I was very attentive during the video, but it's just like anything, you kind of miss some things. Like people were really spitting some fire there that I'm like, well, I can't believe I didn't like catch that in the moment. But I think this video is really going to be good for people to watch not only this one time, but maybe go back again and watch it and take those notes and be able to, apply that to your situation. But really the last question I have for you is, how are you hoping this video will help others, or what are you hoping people can actually take away from watching this video?
yeah. So I after everything happened, right, with my family and us losing our first son, and being a father in laws, right? And I'm a researcher by nature, so I want to go in and I want to understand things. And I found out that six, at least in Ohio, 6.8 out of every 100,000 children don't make it to see their first birthday, right? That's a startling statistic.
Yes.
Um, and to think that there are so many women that are experiencing this, um, is really, really, really tough to think about. Because they're experiencing things physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually that no man will be able to understand. But at the same time, as the woman is going through this experience, the man is also going through a similar but separate experience. Though he may not be feeling it physically, the emotional toll that it takes on him and also the spiritual toll that it takes on him has actually been shown through research to cause just higher levels of PTSD, levels of anxiety. It cause heart issues in men, and like nobody's talking about it. And so what my hope is that more guys, this is the only reason that I did this, is that more guys like start to process the moment and start to process the things that they went through, because it's so easy for us to go back to work and go back to the things that we are programmed to do, which is just provide and protect, right? So we'll go back to work. We'll try to hold the ship together as our wives heal. We try to hold it together as we have children, and we just do the things that we were programmed to do. But what we don't do is we don't take the time to like think about the feelings and feel the feelings that we have that keep us up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's so many guys that I know who've experienced so many different things in so many different spaces, and we have never taken the time to even talk about it. I remember when I was young, I was probably 16, super impressionable. And I was complaining a little bit, but I also was just venting about just an experience that I was having. And the guy told me, and I looked up to him. He was like, "Phil, nobody's gonna cry for you. Why are you telling me this?" And this is something that I held up until last year. I'm 38 now, so I've been holding on to these feelings of like nobody else is going to cry for me for 20 plus years, right? And the idea that if nobody else will cry for me, I should cry for myself because it allows me to be able to get that emotion out. because if you don't allow that emotion to come out, it'll it'll be like having your fist balled up for years. And if you hold your fist balled up, like your fingers will start to hurt. You'll start to get some arthritis. You might ultimately lose a hand. And then if your fist is balled up, if you wanted to help somebody else, you're actually not. You're probably gonna end up punching them. You're gonna end up hurting other people that are around you. And so my ability to just take a step back and allow myself to feel what it is that I'm feeling and be able to begin to let those things go, I hope is something that other men who have been conditioned and programmed to not actually take time to think about their feelings, to not think about their mental health, to not think about the things that they have been through, the things that they have seen, the things that they have felt and have been told, then yeah, I want them to have the courage to do that. There's this idea that you're a courageous person if you could just hold it all inside. But the reality is you're courageous if you're able to like let it go and let other people know that this is what it is that you were going through, because you're ultimately putting yourself on the line. And in putting yourself on the line, you actually build strength. You actually build the ability to say, you know what, this is what it is. This is who I am, flaws and all. Feel how you want to feel about it, but I have enough courage to say this is what my real feelings are. And I mean, it took me a long time to get to that space. I want more men to get there sooner, because then they'll be able to help other people around them. They'll be able to help their wives. They'll be able to help their kids. They'll be able to help their brothers, their sisters. I think it will make us better leaders to be in touch with our emotions, because not being in touch with our emotions cuts off our ability to be empathetic and to be sympathetic when we need to be able to give the word to the people that mean the most to us. And I can say this personally from experience, is that me cutting off my emotions, me wanting to hold things inside, has made me unable to say things when I probably should have. There are probably times where I should have been and felt things that I didn't feel because I wasn't familiar with the emotions of that moment. And so my hope is that more men, more guys who are going through this experience, more guys who are experiencing just pain, trauma, PTSD, all of the things that are related to the emotional health of men, specifically Black men, because we're conditioned again in a different way, um, to be able to talk about this stuff. I think it's vital. It's literally like a fight of life or death. There are so many men who are just holding it in, and I want them to have a moment to just let it go and feel like it's okay to let it go, and for them to have conversations with their friends to be like, okay, this is a safe space for you to let it go. You know what I mean? I think more men need to be able to create safe spaces for other men to feel the things that they feel and not judge them. Um, yeah, yeah, that's my hope. That's my goal in all of this, is that, guys can muster the courage by seeing somebody who's been through it to be able to feel the things that they are feeling in order for them to begin to heal.
Absolutely. Man, that was so good, so true. And I'm praying that this video can have that impact. Um, Letting go is really big. And we've been conditioned to hold things in, just like you mentioned. No one's gonna cry for you. But even if you can just cry for yourself, that is, a start. And then creating that environment of other men being a support system to have that safe place, to not be looked at as soft, or all these things that I think we have fear of showing weakness as men.
Hmm.
If oh, if you're crying, or you're sad, you're showing weakness. But you hit on something, man. You're really showing true strength, because you have the courage to address your feelings and address how you're feeling. And like you said, flaws and all,
Hmm.
this is Phil, this is Antoine, like, this is who we are. So I hope this video is just a start
Yeah.
of allowing people, men in particular, to start to form that brotherhood, form that community, that safe place, to be able to just let it out and be who they need to be at that moment. So,
Yeah.
wow, that was so good, man. Look, if you enjoyed this live, you're definitely going to enjoy the video. Again, it is going to air tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to share a clip
So
of the video.
real quick. I don't want to jump in, but I know that we're live right now, and I know there's going to be a bunch of people watching this.
Yes.
This is what I want you to encourage everybody who is watching this to do. If you know a man who has been through some sort of loss, I want you to send this to them because they probably feel some way that one of the guys on this video have felt. I want you to send it to them. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to like just let them know that they are being seen and that they are being heard. And even if you don't know what to say and you don't know how to say it, just give them this so that they can feel like it's okay for them to go through what it is that they're going through. I think that's the most important thing in all of this is that there are so many men, tens of thousands, maybe even millions across the world who are experiencing this sort of loss and they don't know what to do with it. Send it to them. If you're a mom and you know your son is lost, send it to him. So yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 no.
I definitely want people to know that.
That's so important. Send it to them, have them tune into the live, even after the live. You know, we
Mhm.
want as many people to tune in tomorrow, but we are going to make this video accessible for people. So even after tomorrow, you're going to be able to share this. We want this to make it around the world. I mean, and I'm not selling ourselves short. Like, I want this thing to go global because it's more than just our community. It's more than just Ohio. It's more than just, you know, the United States. I mean, this is men in general that can really have a change of heart. And you see that change of heart that allows for relationships to be better. If they're fathers, it helps their relationship with their fathers, their significant others, their children, like the whole nine. So we want to break that stigma and we want to share this video. And we're so excited. We're very proud of it. I'm so thankful that these men were able to come out and open their hearts and allow for us to be able to walk through their experience, a difficult experience at that, but to allow for us to get a piece of that journey. So what we'll go ahead and do is share this clip here really quick.
The first thing I wanted to do was go back to work.
I was running from the pain that I was feeling.
I can't put my feelings over my wife.
You doing whatever it takes to not feel that pain that you feel.
I had to be righteous because I want to know, like I want to meet my child.
I wanted my son.
All right, everyone. That was the trailer, the preview of our Grieving Fathers video that will be airing again tomorrow, February 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go live on Facebook. We're going to air the video. We will be available afterwards. Myself, I know a few of the fathers are going to hop on. Phil may or may not be there. We don't know yet. We haven't discussed, but we'll figure it out. But even if he's not there, please, we encourage you to put the questions in the chat, private message us. We will get answers to you, questions. We can get you connected with any of the fathers. But we just really want this video to be a blessing to all. So with that being said, Phil, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to the video tomorrow. And I pray that everyone has a great night. God bless.
Thanks.